right, glad you're along for this conversation today. We've got a lot happening. I'm glad you're here to share it with us. I certainly am. My next guest, Jordan Goudreau, former U.S. Army Special Forces Green Beret and the founder of Silvercorp USA, a private security firm specializing in high-risk operations. He's been there. Here's something you haven't heard. You hear about all sorts of incidents going down around the world, but here's one you probably haven't heard of. 9 Americans still being held prisoner by Maduro in Venezuela. Yeah, Maduro, that guy, that dictator, that dirtbag. Jordan Goudreau, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Great to have you here. All right, so who are these people that have been forgotten and have not been, they're not hostages in Gaza. They're not people involved in the war in Ukraine. They're not some guy held in a Russian prison, so you don't hear about them. Who are they? Tell me.
Yeah, no, I mean, these are all people. So let's take a step back. Really, some of these individuals are remnants from the programs that the CIA was conducting in Venezuela 4 years ago under Gina Haspel. I mean, and this obviously predates some of that, but the CIA's policies back then were more based on infrastructure attacks and whatnot. And so some of these individuals are remnants of that. Some of them are individuals from various companies that the Maduro regime deemed as, I guess, domestic terrorists. And then the other few of these individuals are just targets of opportunity for the Maduro regime and really had nothing to do with anything going on inside Venezuela in terms of a CIA plot to do anything. They're just people who are scooped up who have the wrong citizenship, unfortunately.
Yeah. So how do you look? Donald Trump is using tariffs. That's one easy example of ratcheting pressure up on rogue countries and rogue leadership. And Maduro's clearly rogue leadership. In fact, it's widely believed by pretty much everybody that he did not win the last election, that it was completely rigged, and he retained power and remains a dictator. But how do you put pressure on Maduro and still negotiate for the release of these people? I mean, Steve Witkoff has proven himself to be very talented in this regard, but this is a tough one, isn't it?
It's tough. The State Department has to tread lightly. Obviously, I think what was beneficial for the State Department was sending a guy like Gruber to go over there, and when everything was new, when President Trump just got in, and Nicolas Maduro didn't quite understand the lay of the land, he was hopeful that President Trump would see him as legitimate. Obviously, that's not the case. That said, I think that the first, I guess you would say that when Maduro gave up the hostages freely to Gruber, it was in good faith. Now that that's done, now that good faith, or that, I guess, honeymoon period, or whatever you want to call it's over, you're right. This is going to be a little bit of blade running for the State Department to try to get these other individuals back. But at the same time, we have to tread lightly. We can't make any large concessions to get these guys.
And obviously, in your line of work, you're obviously a Green Beret. You've been in hot places and hot landing zones, if you will. But you can't just go in and grab these guys either. They're in prisons. It's not like you can go in and get them and pull them out. Nor would we probably risk that with all the risk that would be involved with such a thing. So basically, you're at the mercy of Maduro. I mean, what else is there?
Right. To be honest, that's where we're at. And so if you look at the actual the geopolitics and the between the United States and Venezuela, it's been really tricky. Obviously, 4 years ago, President Trump was betrayed by the Venezuelan opposition. And so how does he then go ahead and trust this Venezuelan opposition? It's going to take time. Unfortunately for these hostages, it's going to take time.
Yeah. And any idea, Jordan, the prison conditions in Venezuela? I don't have any idea. Share.
So these individuals, because they're political prisoners, are going to be kept at the Helicode, which is inside the Helicode. It's an old shopping mall that's been refitted into a prison / the headquarters of the Sabine, which is their secret police.
Gotcha.
And so these conditions, look, it's not going to be great. You're stuck in Venezuela. That said, you're not in the middle of Alcatraz or something. So they'll be taken care of virtue of the fact that they are Americans and they are political prisoners.
So very difficult, though. Difficult conditions. It's helicode. Now, I'm writing these things down. Never heard of such a thing. Helicode, a rededicated shopping mall. Anyhow, Jordan, I'll give you the last word here. It's a tough place to be. 9 Americans still held by Nicolas Maduro, the dictator of Venezuela, and no end in sight. I'll give you the last word.
Well, I think there's a possible bargaining chip, and that might be one of Nicolas Maduro's planes. Maybe just send a plane over there, so put these guys, a couple planes, just to get our guys back. Because at the end of the day, Americans like to see Americans coming home. This guy's obviously a dictator, but he's willing to do business. So that may be a deal that's worth considering for the president.
Yeah. We did take some of his planes. I had forgotten about that. Yeah,
Right.
We'll keep that plane. Jordan, you're exactly right. Jordan, thank you for all you've done, and thank you for standing watch for us while we were busy doing other things. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Steve.
Really appreciate it. All right. Jordan Goudreau, former U.S. Army Special Forces Green Beret. I didn't realize we had all these people sitting down there in Venezuela, but apparently we do. Yeah, he's right about something there. He said Americans like to see Americans coming home. Donald Trump's had some luck. Steve Witkoff has had some luck. Maybe, look, you want one of your planes back? Let all these people go. I don't think anybody's treated prisoners worse than Hamas. Boy, did they treat people terribly. They came out skeletons, basically. All right, still to come on this day, we're going to have Ron Rademacher joining me in the next hour. You don't want to miss that, of course, as we get ready for St. Patrick's Day. It's right around the corner. St. Patrick's Day, not my favorite holiday, but maybe it's yours. So it is. Sports next with Brock here on the Steve Gruber Show.